Thanks everybody for being here. Kris, you ready to go?
Yep, all set.
All right, Jason, kick us off.
Hi, Kris. How you doing today?
Not too bad. It's going to be a little frantic, but otherwise it's a sunny day in the capital, so can't be too bad.
Yeah, I feel the same. I wanted to start by asking a little bit about the situation you've had all preseason, where a big chunk of the group has been with the national teams. I remember back at the St. James how that group was further ahead on a lot of things because they'd started about a month earlier. This past week, you had that same situation again, where you've got the group that's here, you've got 7 players who are not here. How is the group that was here that didn't go away from the national team? How far along have they come to catching up, so to speak, with that other group?
I think a lot of them have done really well. I think, there's times where they still understand the concepts and timing of it even better, but it's the execution that's just a little bit different at times. And so, I think that's natural. The challenge becomes continuing to put those players in the situations where they get reps, where they have to execute under game speed. And so, we played UVA in a scrimmage, last Sunday, just to try and do that and say, we want you to continue to do the same things against a real opponent, and improve those moments of execution. And sometimes it's just, it's a matter of degrees, but there is a difference between, Kelly OHaras serving a ball in and Cam Biegalski at times, certainly just in the consistency of it. And so I think that's the biggest thing. I think Cam actually finds really, really good times to join the midfield and to improve her positioning from that sense, or to take up better positions that help us move the ball. But it's the execution of the final pass, and it's just some of the difference in qualities that the players have. Kelly wants to go and score goals, whereas Cam's a little bit more naturally a defender, and wants to have safety first. And so I think it just gives us, as we move on, it gives us a lot of different options to utilize based off of the game situation that we could find ourselves in.
And then with that national team group, I assume that they're all back. I know I made it back from Philly that night, but are they up to speed, or are there any concerns in terms of overuse with that group that maybe factor in on Sunday?
So yes, they're all back. They were in training yesterday and today. The only question, I think, really is going to be Andy Sullivan. There was a little bit of a knock that she took in the Orlando game, and then going and playing 2 90-minute games for the national team with the travel and everything hasn't really helped that to calm down. So we're looking at that. So it could just be a thing where she gets rested this weekend. But we're still, she's just going through treatment and things like that. So we'll see how she does. But other than that, everyone else is back, is flying, is good to go. And I would anticipate seeing Jordan DiBiase and Bailey Feist both this weekend, as well as Sonnet. Sonnet's back. So we're in a really good shape overall.
Jessica, go ahead.
Hi, Kris. Thanks for taking the time today. This might seem a little random because I know Kelly hasn't been there for a couple weeks, but I'm working on a piece about her. So I was just wondering, she was a huge part of that never say die mentality last year. And so I'm just wondering what you've continued to notice about her role on the team this year, and maybe how she's continued to facilitate the team's winning mindset.
Yeah, I mean, she was massive part of that last year, and she's continued to bring that. I think the biggest thing so far this year is the change in style and how we've played, and how that's actually, I think, plays into her wheelhouse even more than being a traditional wide defender. And I think you've seen, through the different games, even if she's not the one scoring, she's in the box at times. I know the cross from Julia Rotter to Ashley Hatch, Kelly was right behind her. So, typically, when you're seeing a wide defender cross to another wide defender, it's generally in Barcelona colors or something like that. But I think her excitement about the way that we're playing has been one of those things that's helped to drive the team on, of like, no, this is like, we see how we could be even better than last year, and this is one way. And I think, to some degree, I think we've seen, I think it was the Gotham game, maybe. It was the Gotham game, it felt like was potentially one of Kelly's best games in a Spirit uniform. So I think, she's seeing that and she's feeling that, and that's emanating through the entire team, if they really feel like they're building into something special. And she's a big part of that, especially with, I guess it's not really a newfound freedom, but a little bit of a different role as we go and attack. And that enthusiasm carries over to everyone else.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a few weeks ago, like Trinity was saying, she kind of felt herself like kind of evolving into this leadership role and stuff. I'm just wondering, off the field, like, have you noticed Kelly being able to kind of mentor younger players into more of a leadership role?
Yeah, I mean, that was something, we joke about it all the time, but it was something that happened at the end of last year, is how Kelly and Sonnet really latched onto Trinity and Sanchez. And, were very helpful in the two younger ones in particular, getting ready to go into the national team pool, getting ready to go through camp, and understanding what that's like. And I know that, each of them have had conversations. Each Kelly and Sonnet have had conversations with both Trin and Sanchez individually and as a group. And then at the same time, you'll see things like, after the semifinal against the Reign last year, the four of them are making TikToks, and the younger ones are keeping the older ones, fresh and hip. So it's been a really good balance with that, kind of what is it, that foursome in general. But yeah, they've definitely helped there, and I think you saw it with Kelly as well last year with some other players. She had a lot of conversations with Mariana Speckmeyer, and now she's having a lot of conversations with Tanea Alexander. Just positioning, when to go, when to stay, all those different types of things. You see those conversations happening all the time. And so, yeah, she's definitely had an impact there.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kris.
Yeah.
All right, back to Jason.
Kris, I wanted to ask with regards to the possibility that Andy is not in this game, with Dorian Bailey as well having the injury from a little while ago here. I know you've been looking for opportunities for Gabby Vincent. Is this maybe a window for her to not just see some time, but possibly play from the start?
No, we've actually had to pull Gabby back a little bit. Her calf Achilles thing has it just wasn't settling down, and so instead of trying to push her from the start of the season to kind of play through an injury, we pulled her back instead and took her off feet last week. So yeah, she won't even be in the 20 at all, just because we're going to have to take a longer, more proactive isn't really the right word, but we had to take her off of her feet in order to let it calm down completely. And then we're going to she's starting to build back up, I think either today or tomorrow. So it's going to be a little bit of time for her. It's just, we'd rather her get it healthy and then be able to work back up than just always be, 75% on one leg. So unfortunately, no, it's going to be, it's most likely going to be Taylor and Julia and Sanchez for the first half. And then, like I said, Jordan DiBiase played a decent amount against UVA. Bailey Feist played a decent amount against UVA. So it's going to be integrating them in the second half, most likely.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess my only other question with regards to the national team, I can only imagine the sense of pride everyone has with this past window. You get Aubrey gets her first cap after all this time, and Sanchez and Rodman both get their first goals with the national team. How much has that done for the club as a whole? I mean, obviously for the players as individuals, it's a big deal, but they get to come back and kind of get celebrated by the whole group.
Yeah, I mean, the team is really good in that regard. They come back and they do a good job of celebrating that, just within the locker room, within their own huddles. I know the goalkeeper group, they're all on a separate text chain from the rest of the team. So they go and they've been talking about it as well. So it's been good, and you certainly see people come back with a little bit of a lift. But yeah, I mean, it's good, but at the same time, the fun thing is now they're in a situation which I think has been different from years past, where yes, it's good to go in with the national team, but we miss our team. We want to be back with our team. And that's coming from everyone. That's Sanchez and Kelly and Aubrey and Andy. Everyone's like, yeah, I really enjoyed my games with the national team, but I can't wait to be back with you guys. So I think there's something that's there too, that just they know how special this group is, and they know how much they can continue to evolve. And it's a really exciting project. And so they like having that, that ability to do that at the club level as well, which, like I said, it's not always the case with every team or with every situation.
I'm not seeing any more hands raised. Do we have any more questions before we let Kris go? All right. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you after the game on Sunday.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, Kris.